Welcome back to the Business Book Club. Today, we're doing a deep dive into a methodology that, honestly, changed everything for startups. We're talking about customer development.
We are. And we're using Brant Cooper and Patrick Vlaskovits' guide as a lens, which is just a fantastic cheat sheet for the whole philosophy.
It really is, and it all starts with this one game-changing idea.
It's a stark one. The core thesis, which originally came from Stephen Gary Blank, is that most startups don't fail because their product wasn't good enough. They fail because they never actually found a market for it.
Exactly. They didn't develop their market. And that is the whole mission of our deep dive today, to pull apart that framework, that scientific method for building a business that people actually want.
Right. It forces you to get outside the building and test if your big idea can survive in the real world.
The whole thing is built on this philosophy of, well, questioning everything you believe.
Precisely. Question your assumptions. It's about applying real rigor to the entrepreneurial process. You observe, you form a hypothesis, you predict a result, and then you go out and test it.
It's not just about being optimistic then. It's about mitigating the massive risk that comes with any new venture.
It is. Everyone wants to find a repeatable, scalable business model. That's the dream, right?
Of course.
But the second best outcome, and this is so critical, is finding out early that there isn't a big enough market.
So you can stop.
You can stop or you can pivot, but you avoid wasting, years of your life and millions of dollars chasing something that was never going to work. It's a defense against your own confirmation bias.
That concept, fail fast. That's what this is all about. And we hear related terms all the time, like the lean startup. How does that fit in?
Well, Eric Ries essentially took this customer development methodology and then bolted on agile software development.
So you can learn even faster.
Much faster. It just accelerates the whole build, measure, learn cycle. And then if you're building a web startup, you need to measure all this, right?
Which is where things like ARR metrics come in.
Exactly. Dave McClure's ARR metrics: acquisition, activation, retention, referral, revenue. They aren't just a list. They're basically the proof points for your customer development work.
Okay, unpack that a little. How do metrics for a product connect back to the search for a business model?
It's a great question. So think about activation. That's the moment a new user has that first aha moment with your product.
They get the value.
They get it. That's your proof for step one, customer discovery. If you can't get users activated, you haven't really solved their problem.
And what about retention?
Retention is the gold standard for customer validation for step two. If users stick around month after month, you've probably found product market fit. The metrics validate the learning.
That makes so much sense. Okay, so this whole framework is broken into 4 steps, but they're really in 2 big phases, right?
Yep. 2 phases. First is the search, and second is execution. And honestly, most founders need to just live in the search phase for a long, long time.
So what's in the search phase?
Step 1 is customer discovery. The whole goal here is just to validate that your product solves a real problem for a specific group of people. If you do that, you get what's called problem-solution fit.
And that leads directly into step 2.
It does. Step 2 is customer validation. This is where the rubber meets the road. You have to prove that people will actually pay for your solution and that there are enough of those people to build a real business.
That's where you hit product market fit.
That's the goal. And only after you've nailed steps 1 and 2 should you even think about 3 and 4.
Which are company creation and company building.
Right, which is all about scaling, building out your sales team, your marketing, all the operational stuff. But without that initial fit, it's just, building a castle on quicksand.
The famous mantra for all of this is Steve Blank's command to get out of the building. It sounds so simple.
It is simple, but it's radical. It means no business assumption is true until you've validated it by talking to actual, living, breathing customers, preferably in person.
And when you go out, you're not taking a finished product with you. You're taking an MVP.
A minimum viable product, exactly. And the definition is key here. It's the product with the absolute fewest features needed to get a specific learning or objective, and for which a user will pay with a scarce resource.
Like their time or their attention, not always money at first.
Not at all. And a lot of entrepreneurs get this wrong. They think the MVP have to be this perfectly polished piece of code.
So it doesn't?
No. Often the best MVPs are what we call intermediate MVPs. It could just be a landing page to see if anyone signs up, or a video demo, or even just a PowerPoint deck you walk a customer through.
You're just testing the highest risk assumption with the least amount of effort.
That's the whole game. And when those tests prove your hypothesis wrong, which they will,
You pivot.
you pivot. And a pivot isn't a failure. It's a structured, intelligent course correction based on what you just learned from the market. It's validated learning in action.
Let's talk about the holy grail then, product market fit. What are the absolute non-negotiables to know you've actually hit it?
There are really three things. One, the customer has to be willing to pay. That's the ultimate validation of value.
Right.
Two, your cost to acquire that customer, your CAC, has to be less than their lifetime value, their LTV. The unit economics have to work. And three, the market itself just has to be big enough to support the business you want to build.
I've also heard about a quantitative measure, the 40% rule.
Ah, yes. It's a great benchmark. The idea is you survey your users, and if 40% or more say they'd be very disappointed if they couldn't use your product anymore.
You're in a good spot.
You are at a very good spot. Those are your early adopters, your early evangelists. The people who have the problem so badly, they want you to succeed.
Okay, so this gets super practical. The actual customer discovery process, it doesn't start with an interview, does it?
Not at all. It starts with what's often called the whiteboard exercise. Before you talk to anyone, you have to map out the entire ecosystem. Who are the users?
Yeah.
Who are the buyers? Who are the partners? How does money flow?
You're building the whole picture first.
The whole picture. And then you define your value path, basically. You map out which high-risk assumptions you're going to test first, second, and third with your intermediate MVPs.
And once that strategy is set, you write down your hypotheses.
You have to write them down. The CPS hypotheses, customer problem solution. And you have to be specific.
So not just marketers.
No, never. It's something like mid-market HR managers, that's the customer, have a problem with the complexity of remote benefits. And our solution is a unified, low-cost dashboard. Each piece is testable.
And when you finally have that conversation with the prospect, you can't just go in and pitch your solution.
Oh, that's the classic mistake. You have to use the listening method. It's a very specific sequence.
Walk us through it.
First, you only present the problem hypothesis.
Yeah.
You just talk about the pain. Does it resonate? How bad is it for them?
See if you've got that right first.
Exactly. Second, you ask about their current solutions. What are they doing about it now? Are they using a competitor or just, a messy spreadsheet?
That tells you if the pain is big enough for them to have tried to solve it already.
It tells you everything.
Yeah.
And only after you've confirmed the problem and understood their workarounds do you finally, gently, introduce your proposed solution.
And the goal there is to figure out if what you have is a painkiller or just a vitamin.
A must-have versus a nice-to-have. Because vitamins get cut from the budget. Painkillers don't.
So you do this over and over until the answers start repeating.
You do. When you start hearing the same things from the same type of person, you found a pattern. That's your moment of truth. You either move forward because you've been validated, or you go back to the drawing board and pivot.
The case studies really bring this to life. I'm thinking of Zingy, the mobile content company.
What a story. They nearly went bankrupt twice, trying to sell ringtones directly to consumers. The customer acquisition cost was just killing them.
So they pivoted.
A massive pivot. They stopped selling to consumers and started selling their content directly to the mobile carriers, like Sprint and Nextel. They changed their customer and their channel completely, and it became a huge success.
Another great one is DriveCam.
Oh, fantastic example of listening. Their first product was an outward-facing camera to prove what happened in an accident for insurance companies.
Sounds logical.
It does, but no one wanted it. Nobody buys a product for a disaster they hope never happens. So they talked to customers and pivoted the camera to face inward at the driver.
To change behavior.
Exactly. The value proposition shifted from disaster-proof to behavior modification, and fleet managers bought it like crazy. It was a billion-dollar pivot based entirely on customer discovery.
Those stories just show how powerful this is. So wrapping up, what are the final actionable lessons for an entrepreneur listening right now?
I think the big ones are, first, be relentlessly flexible. The right path is probably right in front of you, but you can only see it through testing. Second, focus your resources. Pick one single market segment, a beachhead, and win there first.
And build MVPs to learn, not just to build.
Yes. Every MVP has to test a specific critical assumption. But I think the single most important takeaway, the thing you have to tattoo on your brain, is just 4 words.
Test your assumptions.
Test your assumptions.
But I think for our listeners, the real challenge isn't just knowing the steps.
No, you're right. The real toughness is in the application. When you have a complex business with 10 huge assumptions, the true art is figuring out which one to test first to make your capital last as long as possible. That's the masterclass.
That discipline, that honesty is why this framework is still so essential. If you want more shortcuts to being well-informed on the business and strategy books that matter, be sure to subscribe to the Business Book Club.
Now, that's a wrap for this episode of the Business Book Club. If you enjoyed the ride, make sure to subscribe so you'll never miss our next deep dive. Got a favorite business book you'd love us to explore? Let us know. We're always up for a good read. And hey, don't keep all these insights to yourself. Share this episode with a fellow book lover or your work buddy who's always looking to level up. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you in the next episode.